Computer.
I reject your fake keyboard.
It's funny. I use a real keyboard with my iPad, but I found myself sitting in the hotel in San Diego, and I needed to transcribe a whole bunch of PDFs that came from our archive. And I'm like, this is a job for ChatGPT. You throw the PDFs in, and you go, hey, transcribe all of this, and I'm going to take that text and edit. Couldn't do it. I don't know why, but it just couldn't do it with this particular set of PDFs. And it was a lot of stuff. So what did I do?
Mm.
Hold myself up in the hotel room for a few hours and just read every single one of them into my phone, let it do the dictation, and then paste that into a document for formatting. And it worked, but I eschewed the keyboard for that.
I mean,
Yeah.
grain of salt, but they are saying that ChatGPT is making people less intelligent, relying on it all the time. I don't know if that's actually true. It sounds ridiculous, but you know,
I
you exercised your brain, and I think that's great because
I mean, here's the thing.
yeah,
I still had to go get the documents. I still have to
yeah,
read the documents. I still need to edit the documents. What I don't want to do is sit there for hours and transcribe documents.
yeah.
So, having a virtual assistant do that for me, I love that. And it's interesting. I did hear a piece talking about obviously ChatGPT can make mistakes and people using this as a shortcut and getting bad information. But then there's another side of that argument that says we do that anyway, and we
Mhm.
free up pieces of our memory for other things. So none of us remember phone numbers, you
Yeah,
know, but
Yeah.
yeah, but you know how to use a phone and you know how to get other information out of that phone. But all that space that you're using for phone numbers, that's now replaced with something else.
I definitely subscribe to the theory that we're all cyborgs now, and we're externalizing parts of our memory and stuff onto a phone instead
Oh
of
yeah.
an implant,
Oh,
which is good
yeah.
because an implant could probably get infected or be hijacked. And you
Very
have it on
true.
your phone,
Yeah.
I use Google Maps for everything, even if I know where I'm going. I just put it there
Yeah.
so I don't have to think about it.
Same. Same. And it's funny because, talking with other people like my mom or whomever, like, well, I know how to get there and we're going my way. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing, the traffic could change. And
Yeah.
I don't know that, but this device does. So we're going to rely on that.
Well, as Mark probably remembers, I would take weird convoluted paths from point A to point B just because I knew how to. It wasn't necessarily more
Yeah,
practical,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Yeah, you're
Like
just
driving
showing
or
off.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, hey, I know where these streets go.
right. Yeah,
I mean, I'll go different ways home from work just to break up the monotony, but not wildly different ways home.
I mean,
sure.
I think I did
I
that
don't.
this morning. I went to a doctor this morning, I was coming back, and I went down certain paths just because I felt like going that way. It probably was not the most practical way, but
Mhm. It's
I
fair.
was like, hey, if I can get
Totally
here in
fair.
time for this podcast and have lunch before, problem solved. So,
Ever find weird vending machines and
hell
alleys and
yeah.
stuff like that? Okay.
Hell
Ooh,
yeah.
nice. Worth it.
So last time I visited Japan, I know I showed Matt this, but it was like I was just sort of like, man, where are the panties vending machines? I just want to see one. And
Can't
I
find that.
never saw one. The week
Oh.
after, a friend of mine posts an Instagram photo. He's like, look, we found the panties vending machine. I was like,
Okay.
kidding.
We could have looked harder,
Yeah,
I guess.
they're
Yeah, but no,
there.
no,
No, we didn't know. We had a great experience not finding a pennies vending machine. It's totally fine.
I can find some weird ones. Okay, Mark, I guess give it a little. Oh, I'm gonna bring up my notes for this. That'll also be a good help. Oh, that's a note to other people. Good, I'm looking. That's a different show. So it's good.
Okay.
Forgive me for the harm. Oh, that's just the thing. The we are. There we go. Okay. I
Right
don't
on.
need to read the letter to my daughter's toast family. Okay.
Yeah, you just throw it in the middle of the podcast.
Hmm.
Um, Wait, your daughter's host family? Where is she like doing foreign exchange or something?
She went to Australia in March
Cool.
and
That's
they got a
awesome.
cyclone, so she spent a
Wow.
lot of time with her host family.
Oh, okay.
And then
Jeez.
Neat.
they are coming here in 2 weeks, so we'll show them around here a bit.
That's so cool. I've never
But
been to
one of
Australia. I
my
want to go.
tabs was a note to them, which I thought was the notes for the show, and it was very clear that was not. So,
The note said something like, "Good day, mate."
What's it?
So to
Hello,
speak, we
Paul
have
and
a
Arlie.
shrimp on the
The
Barbie, so to speak.
wow,
Trying not to be
boy,
condescending.
Mark, it's like you speak a different language. I'm so impressed.
uh, okay. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to the Severance of the We That We Are
Severance of the We That We
podcast.
Are podcast.
Mhm.
You know,
Hi.
we're never going to
It's
say the
episode
proper
9.
like you can't say the actual name of this podcast at this point. It's just like not
We
going to
we
happen.
messed up naming it really. Like it was never a good idea to
I
name
don't
it.
think it has a firm name at this point, so that's part of the fun of it.
If you found this podcast somewhere somehow, congratulations. Please bookmark it, subscribe so that you don't lose it.
Bookmark it as the you are.
There we go.
No, 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 no. This is the we are, which sounds
It
funny.
is. Yeah, but that doesn't make as much sense. Okay. Hi, you're Mark.
Hi, you're Matt.
Hi, over there's John Champion coming
Hey, I'm
back.
John.
Yeah, in your time,
We're back.
you're just still sitting there. We're just still rolling, but we are.
Yeah.
Like
You,
I
you don't have
invited
to tell
you.
people that, but
I don't have to, but I'm just like it doesn't make sense to invite someone for 8 or 9. It kind of has to be all or nothing at all to do some Sinatra songs, you know?
well, thank you
Look,
for
as far
being
as I
generous.
know, yeah, as far as I know, reality blinked out and it's a week later. So
Yeah,
that's
there we
that's
go.
fine. Yeah.
We do have a little bit of a subversion in the structure of the show because this is entirely innies out being outies for the entire time, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Is the Adam Sandler movie Click kind of more disturbing because he does just click his life away and then he's an old man or something? Isn't that how that movie works? He's got the
I
remote
didn't see it.
control where he can it's not Severance. He can just fast forward through things in his life and he does it so
Oh,
much like
right.
suddenly it's like
Yeah.
crap, I'm like 70, Which
That's that sounds like a Twilight Zone ending.
well, it's
Yeah.
very Twilight. It's the most Twilight Zone of Adam Sandler movies for sure. Um, Here we're a little more Ben Stiller, of course, because it's Severance, it's the We Are.
Yep, it's the
Uh,
we are.
I guess we just need to barrel in to continue our conversation from last time. So, Mark, you do that trivia. I'll do a summary, and then we'll try and see what happens after that Severance blip. Is that what it's called? Is it a blip? What happens when you get
It's
severed?
called the overtime contingency.
Oh, well, yes, that is. But I'm just talking in general when you switch. Is that a
Like
blip, or is
when they
that
go
or is
down
that
the elevator,
yeah,
it's
or
the
is that
blip.
too
It's
MCU to
the
call it that? I don't know.
I don't know if there's a word for it.
I'm
yeah.
calling it the blip then. Okay.
Okay. Is that the same? Wasn't that the same thing from the Avengers where they were all like,
That might be why
snap?
it's stuck in my head and we just watch those movies, which maybe is why, but
Mm.
Well, Ben Stiller is back again to direct, and the writing credits are exclusively Dan Erickson and Anna Uyang Mensch. She is not returning as producer for season 2, but she does have the primary writing credit on one very pivotal episode next season. This episode won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Music Composition for a Series Original Dramatic Score. The series was not renewed for a season 2 until a few weeks after it aired, so there's a possibility that cliffhanger would have stayed unresolved forever. Like a Mork and Mindy, if you will.
my last note is like if that had been the case, it would not have been 100% disappointing. I could almost live with that
No,
as being a
I
final cliffhanger that never gets resolved.
I mean, I've gone into this before. Controversial opinion. I think the ending of Mork and Mindy is good, and I think the ending of Quantum Leap, aside from Sam Beckett's name being misspelled, was good. I think that's interesting. I don't know if they circled back around to that in the new show. I think they probably did, but you know, never leap home, everybody. Um, so, as of this recording, this is the highest rated episode of the show on IMDb at a 9.7 with 31,000 votes, which is wild. It's worth noting that our other podcast is all about IMDb ratings, and the number one entry is at a 9.3, but that has 3.1 million votes. But still, 9.7 is very high for something that is widely watched. Finally, we're going to talk about Rickon because this is Rickon's time to find out how important he really is, even though he doesn't actually know how important he is. Michael Chernus, born in August 1977 in Rocky River, Ohio. That's less than 1 month after I was born. He's an accomplished stage and screen actor, and his first role was as Gandalf in a stage adaptation of The Hobbit when he was 13. He moved to New York immediately after high school and studied acting at Juilliard, eventually made his way onto screens with roles in Men in Black 3, which is weirdly stylized on IMDb as Men in Black Cubed. I don't know why. He's the Bourne Legacy and an appearance in Spider-Man Homecoming as the Tinkerer, which
He
sounds fake.
tinkers.
I don't remember that. He's worked steadily up until Severance, and you can look forward to seeing him more in season 2, as well as an upcoming TV miniseries, Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy, in which he will play the titular John Wayne Gacy. I will be there for that. Michael Siberi plays the Living Dead-esque James Egan, born 1956 in Tasmania, Australia. He has a long history of stage hit acting, from Shakespeare to Spamalot to the Broadway revival of The Sound of Music, and he's appeared in 3 different Sherlock Holmes adaptations, although never as Sherlock or Watson or Moriarty. You can also catch him in Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, 5 episodes of Jessica Jones, and Highlander, the TV series. He will also be back in season 2. As for the party guests, finally getting around to these guys, Annie McNamara plays Denise, Danise. I don't remember if we get into that spelling. She doesn't have much of an IMDb bio, but she also has a stage acting history and a Tony nomination. You catch her in Pumpkin Hell, Mozart in the Jungle, and A Plague of Wasps. She will not be back for season 2. Didn't die off screen, probably. Grace Rex.
Yes, she did.
Grace Rex is here as Rebecca. Again, no bio, but she does appear in Mindhunter, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and Everything's Trash. She'll be back for a quick appearance in 1 episode of season 2. Finally, as Patton, aka the guy who found the baby,
I found him. It was me.
We have one of my favorite lines ever. We have
So
Donald
good.
Weber Jr. He has both a lack of bio and a short resume, but he was in The Wiz Live! Exclamation point. The Punisher TV series, and Mother's Milk, and he will also be back in season 2 at the same time as Rebecca. And that's the trivia.
Does the name Rebecca bug you?
Yes.
It bugs me. Okay.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah, I think it's meant to bug
It's-
you,
it's-
and
Yeah.
yeah, especially that she corrects him. So no, it's Rebecca, and then she has that follow-up line like, "I'll need to change my name again" after being blown away by the book.
It is weird how small changes do things. Like, here, when my daughter was born, I actually thought Naomi Naomi would be a cool name, like Naomi Japanese, Naomi English, right? But my wife had a coworker, she did not get along with name Naomi, so that was out. And she's like, "How about Hannah?" And I'm thinking Hannah. I don't like that name. She's like, "No, Japanese Hana." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And
Oh,
that's her
I
name.
mean, you got to have a palindrome. I mean, that's great, you know.
Well, there is no palindrome now. It's Hana. Although it is one kanji that is
Oh.
symmetrical, so I guess it's
Oh, okay.
technically
All
a
right.
palindrome in a way.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I will give folks a bit of the story on this one. As Dylan G literally holds down the fort by holding down 2 distinct switches to initiate the overtime contingency, our other 3 MDR department members find themselves in the lives of their Audis. Mark S. is plopped into Rickon's book reading / daughter introduction party. Mark excessively praises Rickon for the book, confides in his sister about who he really is, and outs himself accidentally to Miss Cobol, who should be Miss Selvig in the Audi world. Irv discovers that he is an outsider artist and a bit of a conspiracy theorist. He finds Bert's real-life address and heads there only to spot Bert with his partner. Helly finds herself at a corporate severance gala where she is the guest of honor, making the keynote speech, or rather, Helena is. Helly's Audi, who is heir to Lumon and undergoing severance to make a point. Cobol has alerted Mr. Milchek, and he neutralizes them, the switch-holding Dylan, just as everything reaches an emotional climax. End of season. I told you guys off the air that I typed that while having lunch on my iPad, and I cannot tell you how many typos were in that. So if you saw me like my mouth suddenly contorting in confusing ways, that might be why. I was like, oh, that's not what I wrote or meant to write.
So, how much did you guys think about who Helly R was before
Not
this
at all.
episode?
I got blindsided.
Yeah, me neither.
Completely.
Me neither.
None. None.
That's such an amazing trick they pulled, because I've thought about this, and I think that the basis of it is they tell us a tiny bit about Irving, but not not enough to make you think a whole lot about what's up with Irving.
Hmm.
And you see Helena in the parking lot for a second. So they drip feed you a little bit, just enough to make you like feel like you probably know what's going on, and then bam, hit you with this that
Uh,
the most ironic possible identity for this person.
No,
But
I
it
mean we think
also
of,
makes
you know,
sense.
yes. I mean Pam, you think of Helly as, oh, she's Pam from the, well, more Hellion version, but you know,
mhm.
Pam from The Office, or she's, you know, in Japan, she's the OL, she's the office lady. You don't, she's just, that's how it goes. So you are kind of like, it's kind of your fault that you didn't see it coming. My fault. I'll blame myself.
Is it? Well, they made sure to distract you from thinking about it, which is, I don't know, it's great storytelling. This is one of the great finales. I can't think of any other TV that, for one thing, I can't think of any other TV show where it's basically characters hijacking their own bodies from.
Right.
It's a weird thing to even have in an episode, but
This is
just the
my
way it
second
pulls that
viewing.
off.
I putting it on. It's like, oh my God, it's only 40 minutes long. That's insane. It's the shortest episode
Mhm.
of the season, which I think I
Yeah.
also noticed the first time I watched it. And watching it a second time, I like forgot how good it was. I remembered it was really good, but then watching it, I'm like, holy crap, this is good. You know, just everything in this is just like, you know, the timing and
Yeah.
all of that is just like spot on.
Well, and that's the thing, that previous episode, you have this nice, meticulous build up, get all the pieces in place, explain the stakes as we've been doing all season long, and then this just moves so fast, going from place to place to place, and you feel the chaos that all these characters are feeling in this completely new world. And I love how they sort of have the not necessarily the best of expectations, but they do have this sort of plan like, well, all we need to do is just get out there, find somebody we trust, tell the story, we're fine. They have no idea what they're getting into. And it's remarkable. I wrote down here that one of the things that happened when I watched this episode the first time, and I'm mostly watching these, at home, alone, just, taking notes or whatever. This was just, pleasure viewing the first time. And I blurted out an expletive when Mark ID'd Mrs. Selvig as Mrs. Cobell. That moment was just one of the best moments in this entire season, anyway, certainly in the episode, and it floored me.
I can't do that, unfortunately. It's usually midnight and people are sleeping in the next room, but I might have otherwise.
Yeah.
I think you asked you. I don't remember what question you asked in the previous episode we did, but I never got to my answer, which was these two episodes have sort of this heist movie, you know,
Yeah.
structure. I mean, this is
Yeah.
like the kind of like energy or frothiness you get from like the Steven Soderbergh Ocean's 11,
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
some of the tension of say Inception, which does it because Inception spends what,
Hmm.
an hour and a half setting up the rules, so it can spend its last hour just like going nuts, which is what this episode is just doing. It's like
Right.
you cannot just
Right.
sit down and watch this episode. You need the 8 episodes before to really, you know, have it, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hit the concrete or so we are very much sticking the landing here, I guess is the point. But
But
Right. Right.
Inception, I just about to throw Inception under the bus. Where
yeah,
it's
go
like
for it.
Inception is a team.
Drive it
And
into the
this
bay.
part of the
Mm.
brilliance of this is that the stakes are different for every single character and they don't know what the stakes
Mhm.
are. It's almost like throwing it's like throwing each of them into three completely different situations, and you watch each of them, well, you watch two of them kind of mess it up, and one of them is succeeding brilliantly. It's like you hand the most misfit character it's like handing her a giant sword. It's like she's in the best position possible. She is the most prepared. She is the least afraid.
Yeah.
And we don't know
And
what
she has the
happens.
greatest opportunity. Like
Hmm.
she is just handed this incredible opportunity. Scary, yes. I mean, nerve-wracking, absolutely. But she's got a platform, and that's the whole deal that they agree on when they get out there. It's like, just tell somebody, our story has to be heard. All right.
Yeah,
Well, here she
TV.
is.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
did a pretty good job, all things considered. He finesses the situation. He's not like, whoa, whoa, what? Which, tends to
Yeah.
happen in a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
TV
yeah,
shows.
yeah.
He slips. I mean, he just has a slip up. You could easily imagine slipping the name. I mean, I tend to avoid using names. Mark and John, I tend to avoid using people's names in
It's
great
interesting,
part
Matt.
because
Yeah.
because especially in Japan, I like screw them up all the time. Just is that me ringing? Sorry if that's me ringing. That's
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 all
a
right.
friend of the show, Scott. There. Okay, I'll talk to Scott later.
Hi, Scott. Speaking of Australia,
Maybe you'll hear it someday. What was my rant though? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, um, I taught brothers, right? And I taught one of them for like 3 years. The other one's like 3 years younger. And in the past month, I've called him his brother's name at least 3 times because Japanese kids tend to look alike unless they're standing next to each other. I sometimes can't
Mhm.
tell which one it is. So there's been about a lot of okay, Yuto. Oh crap, Shuto. The names are
Right,
really
right,
similar
right.
too. So
Yeah.
calling her Miss Cobalt, I would 100% do that, but I would also I have a little defense mechanism in my brain where I would just be like not even use her name. So
It
maybe
reminded me
yeah,
of there's an improv game where the premise is okay, you got, you know, two or three actors on stage, and maybe they take audience suggestions like what's the who, the where, and the why, and the how, and all that stuff. And then the other actor, the third or fourth actor, does not hear any of that. And you build the scene around that actor trying to figure out who they are in that scene. And you might play it where they're a famous historical figure, or you might play it where it's just a relationship to figure out, something like that. And I was thinking about that while watching this, especially with Mark, because the fun of seeing a talented actor play somebody who is not an actor but having to perform a bit to get through a situation is really hard to do. And just thinking about, if you walked into a room and you don't recognize the space, you don't know the relationships of anybody there, but you've got to figure it out without asking, who are you? Because that'll make you sound nuts.
yeah.
What do you do? And you don't know how long you've got. Dylan's saying he might be able to do it for an hour, but is it that long? I mean, it feels kind of real time-ish, so about half an hour, maybe a little more.
Well, I'd
oh,
say
they're
since we
spit
cut back
testing.
and forth, it might be less. It might be 15 minutes even.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's impressive because he is what 2 years old, and he's
yeah,
he's trying to do and also it's very worth pointing out that Cobell is reading him immediately. It's like he doesn't maybe doesn't realize that he's playing this game with her, but she knows. She's like, "You tensed up when we were hugging. What was that about?" She's immediately
yeah.
just
Well, she
she
noticed him zoning out when the
knows.
severance happened, right? Like she caught on
I
to that. If you're talking
I
to someone you know is
mm,
severance and they like zone out for a minute, you're going to have the
Yeah,
thought, "Oh, did they just sever?" I
right.
mean,
she knows more than
but now she's a free agent, right? A
yeah,
nicer way of saying she's unemployed. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah,
she
but
technically she destroyed
but
the shrine. She has less
is
skin in the
she
game.
though? Is
Hmm.
she a free agent or is her immediate reaction is if she's really unemployed, you would think her reaction would be something like, "Well, let's burn it all down. Let's take you to the media or something like that." No, her immediate reaction is to try and immediately drive to the Lumen Expo, take the baby, drive.
Which
Which,
she puts the
by the
baby
way,
in a room. We
I
do have to
Puts
was
baby in a
credit
room.
her
oh
on
Yeah.
my,
that.
that was something where I was. The show also played that masterfully because that thing where Devin was screaming that she took the baby, and I felt that where I was like, did she take the baby and put the baby in the trunk of the car? Because you just don't see the baby for a while, but you do see her driving. I was like, oh God,
And you
is
are
she gonna
like,
Yeah.
take the
this
baby and
woman,
do
I could
something?
see this woman chucking a baby into a river, and I could see this show letting her do
Or
it.
or just
Which,
take the baby and just run off with it for season two or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a possibility.
Well, that's what
It's
I
not.
love about how they play Cobell in this because we immediately get it when she gets fired. Okay, she's pissed off. Her identity has been tied to this company, and she is now ready to burn it to the ground. And when she encounters Mark and he says that he's considering quitting, that moment for her is genuine. Like, oh, you have to do that, and she's on his side. But the minute she has the opportunity to go back and be the hero, I mean, it's all off. No, no, no. I can regain this piece of my identity again, pretend like that never happened, put the shrine back together sometime tomorrow, it'll all be back to the way that I expect. And I've not felt it to that extent, but like I've been let go from a job before where the job was important to me and I liked what I did and I liked the company, I liked the people that I worked with, and it hurts when you get let go. And then for a moment, it's like you try to do the thing. Well, wait, well, maybe there was an angle that I haven't explored. I should talk to somebody there in another department. Maybe I can get back in if there's an opportunity. Like, no, there's really not. When you're done, you're done. Just move on with your life. But you can understand all this stuff going through Cobell's head. She's just taking it to this extreme degree. But then that's the premise of the show. Like everything happening here is very extreme.
Well,
Uh,
it's the innies are concealing things from other characters in the show, but
Hmm.
we are the only ones, the audience are the only ones that know how afraid they should be of Cobell until it all kind of goes down there because she is like terrifying, but they're literally handing her their baby. At the beginning of this episode, which
Yeah,
is just
yeah, yeah,
wild.
yeah.
She's that good of a master manipulator. The only thing that pops into my head immediately is it's Spider-Man No Way Home, where they have Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, and they're just kind of Aunt May is just hanging out with him, and
Hmm.
eventually he's gonna just murder everyone and destroy everything. Spoilers for that, but it's but yeah, they don't know how terrifying this person is because I
Yeah.
guess he was like hit on the head or something. I don't remember why he was.
Yeah.
less terrifying. Rickon's less terrifying at this point, right? He is kind
Oh
of just
my God.
a fun derpy guy. Which what I got? One, I he has
Well,
the bell app. I was like, he should have a ting shot with it. Ting. Why is he just have a bell? That's not
um,
cool. I wrote
John, what
he's
do
a
you think
broken
of the?
clock, so he's definitely correct twice a day. Oh,
Right.
neti pots. That was the other
Yes.
thing. Y'all
The
ever
neti
done the
pot.
neti pots?
No, I know what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay, I tried a few once. It was kind of
There
exciting.
are people who have had some very bad experiences with that because the water is not very
Yeah.
pure. And yeah, yeah. So don't
Yeah.
don't
You
mess around with the neti pot, folks.
No, these days
Uh,
distilled water only.
the ear, nose, and
Distilled
throat
yes.
water
guy is
only.
one train station away, so I can just head there. So,
Yeah. Um,
although I told you guys I did the acupuncture this morning because I went to the proper doctor about bone stuff, and he just told me you're getting old, which wasn't helpful. So now it's acupuncture.
sorry.
That's well,
Seems to be working.
maybe if you lived in the US, they would prescribe you some drugs that cost a ton of money and then send
No,
you
this
a bunch
guy's
of bills.
told me I was
Yeah,
getting
lucky
old and sent me
you.
away twice.
That sounds like that sounds like Zen somehow.
It was like
Um,
that scene in The Dark Knight Rises when the doctor tells Batman his knees like shattered permanently.
it's okay. I'll have Lucius Fox make a brace for it.
That's what I need.
That's
I
what
need
you
Lucius
need.
Fox's. I have a leg brace.
We've already talked about this for a second, but John, what do you think of the sometimes theory that sometimes pops up on the internet that Rickon is actually somehow connected to Lumen and secretly evil?
Whoa, is there that? Oh, okay. I did not know that was a
I
thing.
I think it's
I,
kind of bullshit, but I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
I
yeah.
want him to be the fool from the tarot card. I want him to have like
yeah.
Yeah.
a
See, that's the
positive
thing. Yeah,
influence in the
I
end.
don't want him to be that guy because he's easy to make fun of. But what I like about this episode is they actually redeemed his presence and they redeemed his message that he's not just the comic relief, even though the words that come out of his mouth are ridiculous. It at least it shows that he has some value. He's not just a throwaway character because Mark's sister is super cool. She's great. And you have to believe that she's not married to a guy who's just a complete idiot. Like he actually does bring something to the table and he has value. So I don't like the idea of just like, yeah, make him an enemy, make him on the inside. No, no, no. I like him where he is. And I especially like him in this episode because you don't take away the stupid words. You just
Yeah.
you just get to give him a little more human contact. And that works. It was a really nice scene between him and Mark's innie having an actual connection. It's nice.
And also that
Yeah,
like
and
he gives his very pompous speech, and then what is it? Cobell's like, oh, he sounds a little like shaky or something, and then he goes
Yeah.
back and instantly he's flipping out because he knows that
yeah,
he was flipping
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's like
I mean,
like I feel like his heart's in
imposter
the right place.
syndrome. Yeah,
Yeah.
if someone has imposter syndrome, it's almost like they can't be entirely bad if they have imposter syndrome. And he says that line where he's like, I sound like a hamburger waiter. What is even what do I
What
mean
is
hamburger waiter? It's so
what is-
great.
and that's the thing, like the way we saw that character up until now, I feel like even in my limited creative capacity, I could write that character. Here's a guy who thinks highly of himself, who writes a book that is, cut from this self-help kind of nonsense. And okay, I could write that. But what I couldn't write is what happens to that character with only a handful of scenes. He's only in a handful of minutes in this episode, but they get the most out of it to make him real and sympathetic and believable and have, like I said, purpose in the story. So I love what they did to him here.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I'm
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
we've gone back and forth on Devin and Rickon's love, but I do get it on some level because I'm much more like her than I am like him. But it's
Hmm.
It would have made more
he's
sense 10 years ago, and they're
he,
still trucking
well,
along.
well he
Yeah, yeah,
seems like
yeah.
the kind of guy like he would reliably take out the trash, like
Hmm.
that kind of thing. Like he would
Hmm.
he would pull his weight, and I mean he wrote 5 books. I've written 0 books.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
very
right,
successful.
right, right.
I do want to push the ball down a bit into A Severed Life, Heliar, the exhibit.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
the logo comes up and it says Lumon United in Severance, which is one of the funniest and like
I have
subtle
that written
jokes.
down in my notes. United and Severance, right after I
Oh.
wrote Helena sucks.
Amazing.
Because I'm
Well, we
like,
don't.
Yeah.
Kelly now regrets ever even smiling, because her life
Yeah.
does suck. And it's just, Milchek just took the photos at exactly the time to make it all look great. It's the Facebook, profile page.
Yeah. Yeah. The corporateness of it all is staged so beautifully to great expense. To have these rotating backlit displays and the monitors and the little, PR fluff films. And yeah, that photo of her smiling, sitting in the operating chair
20 of
is
those photos, right? That was the thing
yeah,
where
yeah.
they keep showing them like every time you see another one, it's like, I should never have smiled?
Right. It's awesome, but again, so believable because if you've seen any corporate event, they look like that, and you know that whatever the person is going to deliver on that stage is, every word is vetted down to the syllable, and they have rehearsed that thing, and it is just there to sell you whatever idea they're selling you now.
So did Helly make any mistakes in her overtime journey? I, we said Mark made his that
Um,
one biggie, right? That ends the whole
Hmm.
thing because
mm,
Cobalt makes the call after that. But Helly, I
Hmm.
don't
well,
think makes any
m-
mistakes.
maybe she shouldn't have actually gone mask off with Cobell, but it doesn't seem like Cobell could do anything. Like I'm surprised she even
Hmm.
managed to get inside. It is
Yeah.
very interesting for us, the audience. It's very interesting that first off, up top, we get an elevator with the senator and his severed wife, who has the 3 kids that were severed pregnancies, and
Yeah.
Natalie and Helly all together. Characters that have never interacted, but we've gotten to know them from different places.
Right.
It's one of those things where usually I complain about fiction making the world seem smaller, but it works in this case because this series is kind of about conspiracy in a way.
Hmm.
So of course all these people will meet up at some point.
Yeah.
Like there probably aren't. We don't know how many people are severed. Might not be very many.
They all work in the
Right.
small town. Uh, uh, but I was kind of prefacing that question that way because I was like, I was going to contrast by saying Irving does a very bad job with his experience. What do you think? I mean, he doesn't have
Well,
he's by himself, so he just has to start
yeah.
looking around and figuring out stuff. What do you think about his overtime journey?
I
Does
mean,
does he make it work?
I think what's interesting about it, he probably made the wrong choice by going over to Burt's. But I think what's interesting about him is that, going back to the previous episode, okay, here's a guy who knows more than he thinks he knows, which is a very interesting place for a character to be. And something was clicking back with him, seeing the paintings, going into the closet, getting out that footlocker, like he is somehow putting the pieces together and he's in a better position than anybody else, even Helly, because Helly is completely separated in her two personas, but Irving could actually do something. He seems to be on the path of doing something just by having that list of severed employees. How do you get that? How is he putting it together? How is he sneaking that information out of the office? That is, I think, one of the most interesting untapped stories so far because our attention has been on the other people. Going to Bert's, it takes time, and what can he actually expect to get out of it?
That was
Like,
an
oh,
emotional choice,
it was an emotional
Yeah,
choice. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
remember,
And
he,
it's
as
somebody you
far
can
as he
trust.
knows,
Yeah.
yeah, but as far as he knows, he was never going to see Bert again if it wasn't for that. So that
Mm.
that
Yeah, yeah.
might that's
It's
got to
still an
have something to
emotional
do with it.
choice, but
I
you're
think
putting weight behind it. But
if you
Yeah.
want to think rationally, probably the best thing he could do once he realizes that his Audi knows so much is to just sit down and start writing
yeah, I
to
was gonna say,
himself.
oh
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
Like
he sent
Yeah,
a
that's
yeah,
message
yeah.
that way. Maybe he did. Maybe we didn't see that. Again, I'm the guy who has not seen season two yet because I'm also definitely noticed. Oh, he's a bit of a conspiracy theorist on this thing. Maybe he's like kind of planning himself. You know what? Like Alex Jones, like going into Bohemian Grove. Maybe that's Irving. I don't know
Right, right,
what
right.
he's up to.
I will say without spoiling anything, I will say that basically the threads continue.
I'm sure they do. That's how you make a show.
Well, I
Hmm.
mean, you don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe they don't,
yeah,
Okay, man.
but they do.
yeah.
Okay. They did have to. Speaking of Lost
Those
again, they did
threads.
have to make a after the fact clip to explain the polar bear because people were like, "What about the polar bear, people?"
Well, I think another thing that's very interesting about how I mentioned earlier how they didn't show us a whole lot about Irving, so we didn't think a whole lot about Helly, is that we follow Mark the most. He's sort of the main character. But in this episode, we're also blindsided by turns out that Irving and Helly are both way more connected to Severance than Mark is. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, aside from the
But
wife,
then, as I'll say, that's a wrinkle that maybe like complicates that whole situation, right? So,
yeah, but why we don't know why his wife is in there
exactly. I mean, yeah. So, and
or
and
how.
Yeah.
this is as far as I've seen this far. So, like if you're asking, what do you think? I really have no idea. I mean, I'm guessing he's double severed. I don't know.
Well, a lot of the
Maybe he was
a
never
lot
a
of the
history professor.
theories, well, a lot of the theories post season one that I'm not going to confirm or deny, but it's that actually Gemma is dead, and maybe
Mm.
Jaime Egan is also dead, and they used some kind of technology to bring them both back to life, and they're doing like necromancy.
Okay. Or maybe we got a
Uh,
Westworld crossover. We can do
all
that.
right.
Anthony Hopkins going to show
I'd be
Oh,
down
that'd
for
be
that.
cool.
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Hey, I
I mean,
wouldn't I wouldn't say no to that.
we do have a great veteran actor showing up in season two who you may or may not know is showing up, but
Hey, only reason I haven't watched season two is for the quality of this podcast. So, because
you'll
I
you'll
otherwise I would have watched it.
you'll be glad to I'll say you'll be glad to see him.
Okay, good. Um, I do want to get to performance reviews soon, but I don't want to shut
Mhm.
anyone up if you have something you need to scream on stage before you get cut off.
Um,
No, it's just a killer episode. But oh, and I love the control room set. Well, something that I love about this show is the choices that they make and what is high tech and what's low tech. So like their computers are so low tech and it's wonderful. It gives this like cohesive feel to what they're doing. But you get into that control room and it's this wonderful blend of computer monitors, but with very analog, like big switches and almost like, government issue, big ass dials and stuff that you would find in a, like a nuclear launch facility. The design is
That's the
stunning.
difference between this and Lost. Lost, here's a
Mm.
hatch. What's that? What's in the hatch? Let's spend a season. Let's get in the hatch. This is crazy. It's retro. What's going on? Let's spend a season. What's going on? Now something else is going on. Let's just forget about that. We're here. It's just like, here's a cool, like modern retro room. Let's enjoy. You don't, it doesn't need to go past that. Here is a very cool control room.
Right.
End of line.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's something in the IMDb goofs section where they're like, actually, if there was a control room where two different people had to hold levers, then there would be no point in making them that close together because then one
Yeah.
person could do it. But the way I look at it is that Lumen is so arrogant. They do things like just leave things unattended. They don't.
Uh-huh.
There's so much that arrogance going on there, or maybe just lack of resources or lack of concern, which is why all this stuff is happening. It's just if they had a little bit, if they had more than one security guard, then
Right.
then
Right.
probably none of this would happen. But also, it is hilarious to me that when Milchick is trying to break into the room, his instinct is to just start yelling things at Dylan, like, "I'll offer you coffee koozies, paintball."
To a
Open the
2-year-old, that
door.
sounds great.
Yeah.
He's like, "Open the door and I'll tell you the names of your other two kids," which is just the thing where you're just offering the absolute bare minimum.
I
To,
mean, I got 10-year-old kids where I can get them to chill out for a few minutes by telling them they'll get a red sticker instead of a gold sticker. Who cares? It's a sticker.
I just love that this guy is in the worst situation. And he's obviously been having the worst week of his professional career,
Oh, but he's
and
living it, isn't he? He's
he's
riding that
just
wave.
yeah, and
Right.
he continues to. But I mean, he's all he can do is like, "Oh, I'll give you a coffee koozie. I'll give you," it's
Oh,
like,
sorry. I thought you meant Dylan was having the worst week. And
no,
okay,
no, no.
they're both riding
Milkshake
different
is.
waves. Yeah, yeah,
Milkshake,
yeah,
Dylan's
yeah.
yeah.
having an incredible week.
Okay,
Yeah.
He found out he
he's
has
on.
kids.
Yeah, and a waffle party. He's on the height.
Didn't have to.
Milchick's in the trough. You know.
Imagine finding out you had kids and you didn't even have to raise them. How exciting!
Uh,
I had a pretty easy time
I
on
mean,
my end, to be
I,
honest.
also,
uh,
wait. Do you think that Irving like knew what a dog was?
oh,
When he
that's a good
read Radar,
question.
did he get the MASH reference? Was that a MASH
Well,
reference?
no,
I
it was
just
a
assumed it was a
reference
MASH
Yeah.
to
reference.
your Audi likes the sound of radar. So in this case, it's
Oh, okay. I thought about
Yeah.
MASH. I was like, he named the dog after Radar O'Reilly. So that's just my that doesn't make any sense. That's just how my brain works.
it was a brilliantly
You
placed
were
little
paying
red
attention.
herring. Well, I've watched it 3 times and you've only watched it twice, so
Mm.
clearly my innie is a little bit has been alive a little bit longer. The only thing I have left to add is when Devin says something that's a metaphor and she asks, "Wait, do you understand metaphor?"
Oh,
That's a
right.
brilliant
Yeah.
question
That was
because that
great.
is a good question. Like
Yeah.
it's worth
Yeah.
wondering.
Again, how many of us, looking at you, Mark, because I know you were doing it with me, but around the year 2000, everyone's just talking to each other completely in Simpsons references, right? If you don't know the
Sure.
Simpsons, you're like, what are these people talking about? Hell, Darmok, Star Trek, right? It's
Well,
all references.
oh, you still get that. I mean, the funny thing is just that the references haven't really changed. Even people way younger than us, you can talk to them in references from the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. Can you reference something in the 11th season of The Simpsons? Probably not, which is
Back to the
very
Future talk still
strange.
holds pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
I feel like, if anything, there are more Star Trek references now than there were. It's like because everyone's gone back and rewatched things. Like,
Hmm.
I didn't see
Hmm.
any, like, there are four lights memes until about 2015 or so.
It's true.
Um,
Well, I guess we should performance review these folks. So, what, F's for everybody?
did the
Yeah,
board
well,
see
okay, but
anything?
but wait,
They're all
but
out.
wait. Here's the
We'll
thing.
go one by
Yeah,
one. We can go one by
the
one and give them the rest.
is this is from the perspective of the board, though. How much
Right.
does the board know when this episode ends? So, all
They've
right.
got. Well,
The
let's
only
assume they've gotten
employees are
Milchek's.
Dylan and Milchick. There's nobody else there. I guess you could review.
Yeah.
I guess they're at the gala or whatever it is. Maybe they're
I'm assuming they're at the gala, so they get. I assume Milchek reports pretty quickly, so everyone knows what Helly's up to. That's mass media now. I think the board knows what Helly's been up to. Mark S. Cobol reported. Let's assume they know what Mark S. is up to. Irving, maybe the board is not sure what Irving's up to, which is fine because he's secretive and has weird closets and stuff. So,
Right.
also. Does the board go home at night? Is the board
no.
still working? This is like 6 p.m.
Yes.
probably. Okay,
Yes.
Seems like the board is always working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
2
think
p.m.
it's a
here,
computer.
past midnight
Yeah.
for Mark, late night for John. We're all at different times anyway. I still have a movie
Yeah.
to go see later today, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, hell
So,
yeah.
okay, let's go one by one. We don't have to assume it's all F's. Mark
Okay.
S. We know it. We know the board knows any Mark is at the party, I think. We should assume
Okay,
that.
F.
Okay, F.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they know, because yeah, okay. By the end of the episode, Cobell has transmitted this to Milchick. The board listens in on everything, and then somebody from the board, they're watching Helly's every move. So they've put it together with Mark.
I mean,
Yeah,
Natalie is
yeah,
standing next to Helly almost literally. So she's like
yeah,
five
yeah,
feet
yeah,
away.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
Miss Cobell,
exactly.
she's still fired. Do we even give her a performance review? She didn't work for Lumon right now? Question mark.
No.
Yeah, no, she can't. Yeah,
Okay.
Miss Casey, we don't know where she is. Yeah,
She's in a picture, so you judge the picture you saw. I guess it was a nice
she
picture.
looked lovely. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
uh,
Milchick is big fat F. He is F minus at this point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
at some point, it's like with Miss Cobell a few weeks ago, where I'm like, at some point you have to start blaming management for this stuff happening, and
Right.
he's definitely sitting here like holding the bag with the
no,
bag a big hole in it.
if he had not done overtime contingency about that card, which I don't know, maybe it becomes more important in season two, but it still doesn't seem that important. And he did the overtime contingency for that, and that got the ball rolling. Think about that. Before that, all Dylan won was Chinese finger traps.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Well, to be fair, how could you really anticipate that someone like Dylan would care that he had a kid? It's almost a toss-up because someone
Hmm.
who's maybe, let's say any Dylan, let's just say he buries his emotions a little bit. Like you
Hmm.
can't ever be completely sure, but still, that was a bad miscalculation.
Well,
Yes.
that's the other really interesting question about how the severance actually works, because we know that there's information they don't have. We know that from the time they wake up on that boardroom table, okay, they don't know what they had for breakfast. They don't know what a Delaware is. So they don't have information about how much personality stays intact. And if you have a guy like Dylan, who's a bit of a loose cannon, then
Mhm.
what do you do with a guy like that? Maybe you need to reach him emotionally about the kids, even if just once that information is revealed, do you need to reach him that way, or do you like take him back up to the operating room and say, yeah, no, no, make another adjustment and make sure that whatever part of his emotional brain that feels for his kids is not firing anymore.
Yeah, make
What do
person
you do?
three. Let's make a new person. See how that
Yeah,
goes,
yeah,
you
you
know?
could,
Avoid the
Yeah,
mistakes this
you
time
could.
around.
yeah.
Well, it's very interesting that we didn't really talk about this before, but Cobell has been just putting Mark and Miss Casey together the whole season
Hmm.
just to see what would happen, almost like she wants it to fail, just to like stress test the Severance, I suppose. It's just
Well,
Yeah.
that's how you
so
test the
we
aircrafts
know,
and stuff, right?
but we kind of know based on Dylan's reaction to the kids that we can just sort of assume that he does not had no idea that he had kids. Or maybe his like maybe his fervor is like sort of something in the back of his head that he somehow knew that he had kids. Like maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was some kind of like a dream, like a nameless thing that you guys ever like dream that you're have some other life and then you're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, weird.
Your
Well,
dreams are all
again,
just you in different realities, man.
well,
Sure.
what we talked about in the last episode, just this idea that whatever that strongest emotional component is hard to break with logic and work. That the emotion's going to be there no matter what.
Now, Mark, most importantly, what performance review do you want to give Dylan?
Oh, A plus for initiative.
Really? Okay, I was F and M
No,
too. Yeah,
no, not
okay.
really.
Oh yeah. I don't
F
know. Yeah.
F minus
Yeah.
minus.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he's on double secret probation, F minus.
We just don't
Yeah.
have sarcasm in Japan, you know. I've become more gullible in my as I get older. uh, Helly?
Oh,
Well, yeah,
Helly's
Well,
obviously.
in
she's
trouble.
obviously the president of the company, so A plus.
Helly's not.
I'm just
Helena
kidding.
Helena
is.
is. Helly's in
I'm just
trouble.
gonna keep
Yeah.
doing that, and
Helly gets an
you're
H
gonna
for
keep
Helly.
falling for it.
Helly gets
Matt,
an
I
H
give
Yeah.
for
your
Helly.
sarcasm detector an F minus, even after I
Why, thank you.
basically told you what I was gonna do and then did it, and it worked anyway.
You're welcome.
F minus again.
H.
Yeah.
I'm going down to
She
H.
gets an
She
H.
goes past
Wow.
G into H for Helly.
That's
I mean,
severe.
she did just throw the biggest wrench possible into the whole thing, right? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna
um,
lose all our board jobs.
now Natalie's in the room. I think we have to give her a performance review this week. She gets at least a
Um,
C for watching the ship go down. She
I don't,
should have
what's
could have
she
noticed
supposed to
something.
do? I guess she
She's
could have noticed.
she's
Like
supposed to
she's
be the
not
corporate
okay.
Yeah.
sniper.
I'm giving her a B, and this is why, because she didn't obviously. If Cobell and Natalie had switched places, then Cobell would have known, and we fired Cobell.
I
So
think
we should give
Natalie should know too.
ourselves a D for firing Cobell instead of Natalie. We should have fired Natalie instead.
Oh, well, she still gets a C then from me. Okay, John.
See, I think Natalie is Machiavellian, and I think that no matter what happens, the board they trust Natalie. They like Natalie, and she is going to smooth things over no matter what. So I think she's yeah. There have been some mishaps in that office. I think they still elevate her to like an A minus until there is something really egregious, because she's the one with the earpiece. They trust her.
Is this
So
egregious? This might count as egregious.
Mm.
it might, but here's the thing: any of that can still be pointed back to Cobell, and that's
Mm,
where I think Natalie is Machiavellian, and she is a bit
she'll judo it.
manipulative. Yeah, and I think she can just anything that they see, she can say, "Oh yeah, that's Cobell. I am your dear servant. I am just here to report what's going on." And look at this mess that Cobell and Milchick have left for you. I am just the messenger, you know.
I think Sydney Cole Alexander, who plays Natalie, is like kind of the secret weapon here, and she's incredible. And she's barely in the show really, but she's
Hmm.
always just got so much going on with her performance, and continues that in season two, which I think I've said. I think that's not a spoiler that I've said she'll be in season two. Thumb.
I don't think you spoiled anything for me there. I think it's the only person we haven't hit yet. Irving? Is it just Irving we haven't done?
Ooh,
A
yeah,
plus.
Irving.
Just kidding.
No, I was thinking about you replacing this case because the board doesn't know what he's up to. I mean, I guess they
If the
by
board
now
did know,
they
then
know that he's been overtime
Yeah,
contingency, but they don't know that he had anything to do with pressing the buttons, right? He could just be like, "Well, we're
true.
doing." They don't know Irving is in on this, and he's
He could just
how
be
in on
same
it
old
is he?
Irving.
He really is kind of just going along. I mean, he's a little pissed now. He's pissed about Bird, but he's
Oh.
not. He's probably like again, he's all emotional, right? Where the other people are a little bit more trying to get to the bottom of the situation, I think.
How
Yeah.
serious is it? Like, how seriously do we take it that someone goes and finds someone else outside of work and bangs on their door? Like, how much does the board care about that? I feel like the board would really feel frown on that,
That's
right? Like, no,
well,
But if they feel confident enough that okay, we know that Bert's severed, and
yeah.
there's probably not going to be any reconnection there, so they might be okay with it.
so I'm gonna say we're
Um,
unsure about Burton. We're gonna go B minus because the past few episodes he's been a little funky. So B minus with a
well, he's
an
retired.
asterisk.
We
Oh, so
can't
not
rate
Bert.
a
Excuse me. I
retired.
meant Irving. I
Oh,
meant to say
okay.
Irving. Sorry,
Irving,
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Burton Irving.
Sure.
Bert Irving, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I
I
think
think
that's
again,
intentional, right? Burton Irving?
Irving's just
I mean,
he's just a solid, he's reliable. To the board, if they suspect anything, maybe they bump him down to an A minus B plus. But if they don't suspect anything, he's just Irving. He'll be
Yeah.
back in the office the next day,
They
working
know he's
toward
caught up in
quota.
this stuff, but he could just be back in the office the next day. We're not sure about that.
Exactly.
So, okay,
Exactly.
so
I
there's someone
think
that doesn't just get that automatic F.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you look at their head shapes, like John Turturro and Christopher Walken, it definitely is a Bert and Ernie reference because Turturro has like the long head
That's
a little
true. Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting to some Sesame
Good
Street
call.
phrenology.
Yeah.
I guess we gotten everyone down then. So we will catch up with them again in
Um,
season two. Any final thoughts
Yeah.
or thunks you want to throw out?
I mean,
Uh,
this is one of those like I might never see an episode of TV that hits like this again. So it's like great to be able to talk about it because it's
yeah.
just huge. And I already loved the series before this one, but when I was watching this the first time, and this was probably 2 years before, yeah, because I watched it pretty soon after it originally dropped. I was like, I don't know how they can follow this. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And maybe and I was like, maybe they shouldn't do more than one season after this because it goes so far into like unraveling everything
Hmm.
and just down to like the episode ends with that ding of the elevator. So you know that
Yeah.
much. But and after season 2, I still don't know what they're going to do, which is
Right.
great. That's I think great credit to the show. I think it drives some people nuts, but I like not like genuinely not knowing where it's going to go.
I mean, I could
Yeah.
guess 80 different ways this will go from here, having not continued, and we'll probably start season two tonight because now I can.
Good. Good. Well, I can't wait to hear what you say when we get to about episode 4 of
Uh-huh.
season 2. Yeah.
Okay,
That
looking
would
forward
be
to
the
that.
one. That would be the one that Anna Young Mensch wrote.
Okay,
Okay.
Episode 4.
looking forward
It's
to that.
something. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
will be there soon enough. John, if you want to throw out where people can find you once more,
Yeah, podcast.roddenberry.com. Check us out. A lot of stuff coming. Oh, Genealogy will be firmly back by this time, doing some little breaks here so we can package shows together and do them in sets. So, hiatus right now, but by the time you hear this, they will be back. So, look forward to that. And find all the other shows at podcast.roddenberry.com. We'll see you there.
right, Mark, I'm gonna make you do our thing this time because I did last time. Ha ha ha.
Oh, well, since I risk getting a bad performance review if I don't, then you should, for the sake of my rating, you should go to your podcast app of choice and rate this 5 stars and review it. And also rate Mission Log and Genealogy and all the fine podcasts over at Roddenberry 5 stars and review them as well,
Hey, thank
because
you.
we depend on that. My pleasure. We depend on that because there's nothing else. There's nothing else for us. We're just like a bunch of severed people just grasping for stars like they were perks in the office. But you can go to podcastios.org to find our other podcasts about video games, podcasts about TV shows, movies, and also patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius. And you can find us on the Mission Log Discord doing Severance chats every once in a while and other stuff.
Hey, look, we'll put it this way. You can give us all 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere that you get podcasts, or Waffle Party on you. So if you provide us with a Waffle Party, that is totally acceptable. But in exchange, we would also take 5 star ratings and reviews. It's up to you. It's up to you, folks. Yeah.
Ding!
I gotta get waffles tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you go.
you heard that. Okay, good. I didn't know if my ding would come through or not.
Yeah, heard it. You did it. It'd only filter it if you had a real bell, probably.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm staring at the train times for that movie.
Cool.
No, I ain't get that train. Okay. They only come like it's countryside. They're only once an hour. Okay,
In
I will go
Japan, are
ahead.
you getting like 30-minute previews and stuff
Huh?
before
Oh
movies?
God, they're so long here now.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
nuts.
but the nice thing they do, I mean, you still got to sit through them, but they mark the start time and end time, including the previews. So it
Oh,
marks the time that
all
that the
right.
movie will completely end at the end of the credits. So that's
Cool.
used, so that helps you get the train
Hmm.
times at least. But yeah, they do make you watch it. And hey, here's something I'm curious about. At least here in Nagano, they also berate you with multiple wedding chapel advertisements. Like everyone, they're expecting a bunch of dates to come in, and it's funny. It's like the Tim and Eric thing where they have like competing supermarkets or something. Where it's like here's a wedding chapel
Oh
that's like 30
God.
miles north. Here's one 20 miles south. Here's another one 30 miles north.
Oh my
It's not
God.
like the no Mr. Show when we're yeah.
Yeah.
The David Cross ends up like working out of the back of his truck again at the end or something.
Oh my
I'm gonna be
God.
honest, dude. I think since probably before the pandemic, that weddings are just dead. Nobody I know gets
Mm.
married at a wedding anymore. They all elope or
I'm about to see
something.
4 Reading adverts before Fantastic Four, so
It's I mean, I think it's just a result of everything being so expensive here. People are just like, nah, we're just not doing it
I'm still working
because
on
it's
American.
weird.
Recently, I've had so many dumb things where my American credit card is like just still eating like amazing in Japan. They
Hmm.
they took away they replaced my transportation fee with a housing fee, but then they also give everyone a transportation fee. So I just got this like stupid raise for no reason, which is yay.
Okay, great.
Hey, right on.
If
Good for
anyone's
you.
wondering why I keep buying guitars and going to Disneyland, that's part of the reason why. If they give you 400
Hey,
extra
Good
bucks a
job.
month, that tends to happen.
Live it up.
Well,
Live
do
I
it
it
while
mean,
you
up,
can.
brother. Yeah.
what is a transportation bonus for except going to Disney and riding on, people
Yeah.
movers and things?
What's for
That's
my train pass? But
transportation.
On
the housing
transportation.
fee covers that. So the transportation now covers the haunted mansion. It's
Yeah,
transportation through the Doom buggy.
it's transportation. Yes. Disney loved transportation. I mean, he maybe
Hmm.
maybe the monorails could be like expanded a little bit, but this
Fun
transportation
fact,
is
Tokyo's
integral.
railway only has one stop because Japanese law requires if it had more than one stop, even in the park, they would have to charge you a fee. So it's only one stop and it just goes in a circle around Western
Oh,
Land and Critter
wow.
Country.
Huh.
Does not go around
Weird.
the whole park and does not have a second station.
Huh.
Crazy. Hmm.
But
So
they do
weird.
have the primeval diorama. They did that, but not the Grand Canyon one. So they have one of them.
Oh,
John, just to throw out for the future, I've hit I am going to be doing the Queen Mary movie before too long, but I hit the brakes a little bit just because
no problem.
why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
So it'll be a little more time before we get to that. And I think
Cool,
on
cool.
Films and Filth, we're coming up to Cinema Paradiso before
Paradiso.
done.
Nice.
Paradiso before too long. Let me see how soon that is, just while we have you on the line.
Cool.
Uh, it'll probably be something September when we do that one.
Okay.
September or
Yeah, I'm
October. So.
gone through the end of August, so I'll be
Okay, so
here for
it
a little
won't
bit, but yeah,
it'll be
I will.
September or October when I'm bugging you about both of those. So August.
Okay.
I mean, the next 2 weeks I'm basically not podcasting because Luke and I have to do all the summer school and go to work early, which means we get to finish
Gotcha.
early too, but we can't podcast that way. So
All right.
and
Excellent,
Mark, I'll
guys.
just get
Yeah,
back to you when we get tomorrow. We'll hit the record.